So in 1981, Burlington elected a progressive mayor. He's a socialist, which is very unusual in our country. And he won by a small margin because, yeah, he knows. It was really a movement from neighborhoods, tenant advocates, the folks who were really being affected by a poor government in the city that was favoring business and just wanted to, sort of develop our waterfront for wealthy people, causing a lot of speculative and absentee ownership in our neighborhoods. And so once elected, the mayor was seeking models and seeking ways to engage our residents and support them in their goals to have better neighborhoods and decent and affordably, without having any displacement. That was really our goal. And we discovered this community land trust model and said this meets all our goals because, as you see, it's the democratic ownership. Your members and residents are engaged, but we can also decommodify housing. But a community land trust is a membership organization and has representation on the board from all members of our service area. And so we represent that membership, which we're trying to balance the interests of our community with the composition of our board. And it's a democratic ownership of the land. So this is the way we do it. On our board of directors, 1/3 of the directors are always residents of the homes that are in the trust. And we have cooperators, renters, and homeowners in our group, in that sector. And then 1/3 we draw on local government leaders. In a community land trust, it's a little bit like a cooperative model, as you'll see, but the whole membership, the corporation owns all the land. And the buildings are sold or can be owned by individual homeowners, by cooperatives, by local business, by other nonprofits. Every piece of land that comes into the trust is subject to this corporate ownership, and then all the different properties are deployed as our communities need them to be. And if we want to sell a piece of land, because the purpose is really to take it out of the speculative market forever, we have to go to the membership and vote. We've had to do that with property and stuff, but we're really taking care to steward that land for the well-being of the community. And what happens, and we are in a very, very hot market, very expensive market, which I think is what a lot of us are coping with today, our models, then the values of the home rise much slower than the market. And it's this differential that we are preserving for people. So that's a very important a mechanism in our model, and we've been able to see over our 30 years, it's worked through mostly hot markets, but some downturns. So taking the land out and controlling that communities allowed us to really affect our market. For example, in our market, rents went up by 60% since 2008. Because it wasn't as much home ownership, people are in a tight market. It's horrendous. Think about it, workers' incomes don't go up 3% a year anymore. So to have the rents go up that much, it's huge. And around the country, we really are facing housing crises, and our big cities are just full of homeless people. And so things have to change at the federal level. So we work very hard, we're advocates at that level, broadly for support of affordable housing, and then we work particular in the areas of the law where we could incent private capital and public monies to go into this kind of model. So these are some of the trusts all over the country. I wish this list was much bigger, and we're working on that. I would say, and I think, again, this morning I was very inspired with the approach of the thought about scale. There's actually power in the numbers we have. And the problem is at a scale where we should be able to respond in kind. But our challenge is, we've achieved scale for our little state in Vermont. We're still one of the bigger nonprofits in the Northeast as far as our number of homes. But nationally it's been very, very difficult. And the big barrier is really the financing structure. So we're working on two fronts nationally, and we're actually looking at, we're going to sort of merge with another organization of like mind, because at the federal level, we need to have a big impact on federal policy so that all public funds for affordable housing would stay out of the speculative market. I mean, why in the world Would you try to do affordable housing? It's speculatively, it's crazy. And then secondly is we need our finance industry to recognize this. So we had made so many gains up to the crash, and since the crash, now the banks are like, oh, we're not going to do anything different, and we can't do that. And, so it's almost like we have to start over.